we're recording. Well, welcome everyone on this beautiful spring day. Really excited to see the sun and warmer temperatures here. So very glad about that. I'm sure you all are too, especially right before the weekend. So we're so happy and grateful to have Adriane Ackroyd here. She is with the Maine Department of Education Child Nutrition Team, and she's new to this job, but also returning to it. So she's new currently, but not really. Anyway, and we're really grateful that she's here to tell you about Sun Meals in the Summer Food Service Program. So I'll turn it over to her.
Great, thanks for the wonderful introduction, Beth. Now here comes the moment where I screen share. Everybody hold your breath, it should go smooth. All right. How's that looking?
Perfect.
Perfect, great, thank you so much. All right, well, thanks for the wonderful introduction. Thank you to Beth and Nancy for having me here today. It is a pleasure to be speaking with you about a program I'm incredibly passionate about, the USDA Summer Food Service Program, also called Sun Meals. My name's Adriane Ackroyd. I'm the program manager for summer meals at the Maine Department of Education. And as Beth mentioned, I was the program manager for summer meals from about 2016 to just about 2024, where I took a bit of a career pivot, went to the federal level, and I'm happy to be ending up back here with Maine Department of Education, overseeing the summer food service program again, because it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. And I hope after this presentation, everybody will have a better understanding of why it's such an amazing program. So for those who may not be familiar with the Summer Food Service Program, here's some high-level information. The program is a federally funded, state-administered program that falls within the suite of USDA child nutrition programs. Summer food ensures children, youth, and teens have access to nutritious meals and snacks when school is not in session. Summer food reimburses program operators called sponsors who serve complimentary meals and snacks to children, youth, and teens in areas of need. Here's a good visual of how the program works administratively. Summer Meals is one of the 16 federal nutrition assistance programs overseen by USDA. The programs you may be more familiar with include SNAP or the school meals programs. Those are typically the most known, or even WIC is one of the programs that you might know about. At the state level, there is a state agency in Maine, that is Maine Department of Education, for the Summer Meals program, that is responsible for managing the program across the state. So we receive guidance and funds from USDA and then recruit, train, review, and provide the funding to program sponsors to actually operate the program. And then sponsors are the ones who are responsible for administrative operations and then managing sites at the local level. Sponsors can be school districts, nonprofit organizations, or government entities. And then they have summer food sites that they oversee. The sites are the locations that provide food to participants. These can include libraries, schools, parks, pools, rec centers, and more. Sites are eligible to operate in areas where at least half of the households meet established income guidelines. And these are the free and reduced price income guidelines that schools have historically used for eligibility of school meals. In Maine, meals are served at no charge, so there's not as many households needing to complete this information, but we have other resources that we can use to establish eligibility, including census information, and then school data that we're still able to pull through other means to establish eligibility of sites. Recently, USDA rebranded Summer Food Service Program to Sun Meals. And within Sun Meals, there are 3 sub-programs. Traditional Sun Meals, which offers in-person or congregate meal service, where participants can eat in a group setting. There's Sun Meals to Go, or sometimes called non-congregate meals. And that came about because of the COVID-19 pandemic, how food service operations had to operate for safety. meals were taken off-site for consumption. And this program can operate in income-eligible rural areas where it may be difficult for participants to get to in-person sites. And some sponsors who operate the Sun Meals to Go program operate delivery options or pickup options. Some meals are served unitized or as a complete unit. Some meals are served in bulk components that the household can put together. And they should be easy to put together, prepare with a menu attached. So that way participants who are youth 18 and under can make the meals for themselves. And this is intended for home consumption or off-site consumption. In Maine, we're a very rural state. We're seeing a lot of non-congregate meal service as a result of this, but there is definitely room to grow. Finally, there's the third branch of the Sun Meals suite. It's called Sun Bucks. And this is a summertime EBT, electronic benefit transfer, like SNAP, program that offers food benefit dollars loaded onto a card for eligible households to purchase groceries over the summertime. So if your family receives SNAP already and has school-aged children who are enrolled in a school that offers the National School Lunch Program, a benefit of $120 per child who qualifies will be automatically loaded onto their Pine Tree EBT card. Households who do not currently receive SNAP can apply on the DHHS website for SunBucks benefits if they meet certain income guidelines and attend an eligible school. SunBucks recipients can also attend Sun Meals sites. So just because somebody is getting SunBucks doesn't mean that they cannot also attend a Sun Meals site and get meals that way. You'll see through today's presentation, I will use summer meals or summer food and Sun Meals interchangeably. They are the same program, and I use them both likely because of habit and familiarity. But if I say Sun Meals or summer food or summer meals, that is the same program. At Maine DOE, the Child Nutrition Team oversees the Sun Meals and Sun Meals to Go programs. Here's a snapshot of 2025 operations. We had 101 approved sponsors in all 16 counties operating the program. There were 446 approved sites that operated, and that includes a combination of Sun Meals and Sun Meals to Go, so those congregate in person and non-congregate or off-site meals. Of those sites, we had 12 library sites. From what I could tell with the data I pulled, there were 12 library sites that operated. And over the summer of 2025, over 661,000 meals were served. So those were meals served to children who typically rely on meals over the school year to meet their nutrition needs. And so it's really wonderful to see so many meals being served over the summertime. And if you want to know about the average, in July, which is typically the biggest month of operations, 16,647 meals were served per day. But Sun Meals is more than just meals. So far, we've focused on the nutrition benefits of the program. However, there's more. Here are some pictures from past year's summer operations. The first is a photo of salad greens being served in RSU 3, which includes Unity, Thorndike, and other towns in the area. And the greens are from their school garden. So Sun Meals offers an opportunity to serve local food and teach participants about where their food comes from, which is really lovely. The other photos are from a summer meals kickoff party in Kittery, Maine. A University of Maine Orono dietetic intern was doing nutrition education activities for participants. That's the photo you see in the middle here with my plate and talking about the food groups and things of that nature. And then the photo of the right is a summer meals kickoff event attendee receiving a free backpack. There was a local organization that donated free backpacks for all the participants of the site to have to get ready for the next school year. So you can see it's more than the food, it's enrichment, it's education, and it's resources. As I mentioned, there are many benefits of Sun Meals, and of course, these include food access, nutrition access, reduced learning loss. So Attending summer meal sites can mean attending opportunities for enrichment and continuity of learning from year to year, opportunities for socializing, enrichment, summer employment for staff. School food service staff may only be working over the school year, but if their school operates as a summer food service program, they may be able to get summertime employment if they were looking for that opportunity, which can be great. It supports local producers. So we see a lot of local products flourishing in Maine in the summertime. And so food service operators can purchase locally and support these producers this way. It increases participation in local programming. It builds community partnerships and offers opportunities for youth development. So volunteer opportunities for youth and more. All right, so let's get to the nitty-gritty about the library sites in 2025. Earlier, I mentioned from what I could tell, there were 12 library sites last summer in Maine, and that was the congregate operations, so the in-person dining operations. Here's the list. I want to thank you if you're on this list, and if you're not, we'll talk more. But these sites included the Curtis Memorial Library in Brunswick, Walker Memorial Library in Westbrook, Gardner Public Library in Gardner, Albion Public Library in Albion, Brown Memorial Library in Clinton, Rockland Library in Rockland, Thomaston Public Library in Thomaston, Millinocket Memorial Library in Millinocket, Heartland Public Library in Heartland, Skowhegan Free Public Library in Skowhegan, Liberty Library in Liberty, and Libby Memorial Library in Old Orchard Beach. So, this might not be a comprehensive list. There may have been library sites that were pickup sites for those non-congregate or to-go meals, but I wanted to highlight the ones that had that in-person congregate experience, that had programming where children could get meals that way. All right, and here I just wanted to showcase how sponsors often promote summer meal sites. So here's an example on how libraries are promoted. So on the left is a promotional resource from the Bath YMCA highlighting the Curtis Memorial Library site. And then on the right is a promotional resource from Westbrook showing the Walker Memorial Library site. So the Sun Meals Summer Food Service Program sites are often promoted locally. They should be promoted so the public knows how to access the programming. So this is natural promotion for your library as well in the summertime. So earlier I mentioned the 12 open in-person sites that operated in libraries across Maine. I went ahead further and I broke it down by county. So here were the county sites that we saw in 2025. Cumberland, Kennebec, Knox, Penobscot, Somerset, Waldo, and York. And then here were the counties without those congregate in-person sites: Androscoggin, Aroostook, Franklin, Hancock, Lincoln, Oxford, Piscataquis, Saginaw, and Washington. I broke it down at the county level because at the state agency, it's helpful for us to take sometimes a county level view to think about expansion and access. And so I wanted to also highlight this from that county level to help with future expansion and outreach efforts. So why should libraries become summer meal sites? There are many great reasons. Libraries are valued community space, and they're safe places for children, youth, and teens to congregate over the summertime. Summer meals complements existing programs like summer reading and other scheduled activities, and there are benefits for the library. Sites can lead to increased summer reading sign-up, new families at the library, and new partnerships and support from community organizations and schools. Some programming that could naturally complement summer meals includes the summer reading program, writing and art workshops, nutrition classes, kids fitness classes, storytelling, and more. And you are all the experts on the programming that would complement it. I just wanted to throw some things out here that I have seen in the past. So if you're interested in becoming a summer meals site or a sun meals site, what would that look like? Well, first of all, your site would need to be eligible. It would need to be in an area that meets qualification requirements. And so you could either be a library that's in the attendance area of an eligible school, meaning through data that we have access to, half of the children qualify for free or reduced price meals. We've seen a big increase in that because many schools are operating a special National School Lunch Program way of operating called Community Eligibility Provision, or CEP. And that allows that free and reduced percentage to kind of get bumped up for a variety of reasons. So we're seeing a lot more sites eligible this year as a result of CEP. There's also a census data tool called an area eligibility mapper that allows us to see areas that are eligible in the state. And the screenshot that I have here is of Dover Foxcroft, and the little pin is Thompson Free Library. And so that's showing that it's in an eligible area to be a summer food service program site. And just a heads up, I have been in touch with Heather Witten, who's the food service director for RSU 68 Sedamocha, just to let her know that her local library is eligible to be a summer meal site. She is an amazing food service director, and she was interested in learning more. So she may be coordinating to see how you could partner, or if that would be something that would be interested and for both parties. And so a best practice is for a library, if they are interested in becoming a summer meals site, to partner with an existing sponsor. Existing experienced sponsors are familiar with all of the programmatic requirements of the program. So they make great partners, especially schools, because schools are used to operating USDA programs, not just summer meals, but the National School Lunch Program and more. All right, so if you don't have the capacity, maybe having summer meals at your site is not an option for you. What else can you do? Well, there's other things to do. Do any of these look familiar? I hope they do. So for many years now, we have been partnering with the Maine State Library to create bookmarks that on one side have the summer reading program theme, and then on the other side have information about summer meals. And so these are promotional resources for both programs that we utilize our summer meals funding for to have printed, and then we provide them to the Maine State Library for distribution across the state for promotion. And I thought it would be fun to see the bookmarks from across the years. So we have, and I'm sorry if some are missing, COVID kind of threw a wrench in the works for a few years, but this is what I could find. Our library's rock theme, a universe of stories, imagine your story, read, renew, repeat, I read, so level up at the library, and then this year's bookmark. It's our 2026 bookmark partnership, and this is what we came up with as the promotional resource here. So we're really excited to get this out. We will be working with Beth and Nancy to coordinate bookmark distribution across the state. And they turned out really well. We already have them, and they're really nice quality. They're really beautiful. So I'm really happy to have these this year. It's more than just bookmarks. They're great promotional tools, but we also have posters this year that libraries can put up, which highlight the program, and they include more information on how families can find local sites, and they also have information on sunbucks. So these are posters that we can provide, that we can get to you for promotion, so you can work with, I'll have my contact information, I can send it out to see if we can get these to you at your local libraries. And then one of the other ways that libraries can promote and support the summer food service program, Sun Meals, is through supporting existing sites that are operating. So what I have seen in the past is like at kickoff events or summer start parties in Westbrook. I saw the Westbrook Library bring their bookmobile to the event, and they were offering free books to children who were attending the event that day. And it was a very popular area. Libraries can also provide programming or activities at open sites. If you're doing any kind of membership drives or free memberships for children over the summertime, summer meal sites can be a natural way to get that information out. And just using general promotion for your library programs and membership in general. So it's a natural partnership for both enrichment and promotion. And I believe Beth will be talking more about how libraries can collaborate in a bit. And then not summer meals related, but I just want to put a plug in here for our school lunch heroes, our lunch professionals who make sure that kiddos receive wonderful food during the day when they are in school, the National School Lunch Program. So May 1st, 2026 is our School Lunch Hero Day, and this is a national day of recognition. To go along with School Lunch Hero Day, there is a Lunch Lady book series that I'm hoping that if libraries don't have them, they can access them and then maybe put them out to help promote School Lunch Hero Day. It's just a natural way to promote some of the wonderful work that's been going on in schools and to lift up our school nutrition professionals. So if anybody has any questions or would like support on Sun Meals, please reach out to myself, Adriane. I have my email address here. My partner in crime is Kate Fail. Her email address is here as well. We would be happy to provide more information or help you make partnerships or connect with local sponsors in your area to see how you can support. And then here's some of our slides that we provide as part of our services. And with that, I will go ahead and stop sharing and open it up for questions or to see if Beth has anything more to add.
Thank you so much, Adriane. This is such an amazing program. Every time I hear about it, there's something new. First of all, I learned some new things today, and it just reminds me of what an incredible program this is. This is certainly a way for kids who may rely on getting free school lunches during the school year to still continue to get a high quality meal in the summer. So that's great. I do have a question for you. So when kids go, is there any kind of requirement to show ID or register or qualify for individual kids?
Thank you for asking. So at open meal sites, congregate meal sites, so the traditional dining, any child 18 and under can show up, and the expectation is that they receive a meal during the approved meal service operating time. It's a bit more nuanced with like non-congregate meals to go. Some sponsors, schools end up having to do like a sign-up process just to manage distribution. So there could be at that level a sign-up process, but that's not everywhere. But traditionally, those open sites are have to be available for anybody 18 and under. No questions asked, no ID required, and yeah, it's meant to remove stigma to help increase access.
Excellent. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Adriane?
I don't know how to raise my hand. Sorry. And apologies that I don't have a camera on this computer. I am like my first questions are pretty logistical about like how many kids show up on average to a site and how many days a week are you operating and those kinds of things. Are those questions that are best answered via the sponsoring organization, or is that something that looks pretty similar from location to the location?
Oh, it's so dynamic. It changes so much. It's definitely sponsor level depending on what's going on. You know, in Lewiston at their sites where they have summer school, they may get up to 250, 300 kids coming through. But at our library sites where they may have 5 to 6 kiddos participating in story time, you know, or something, there may be, participation in the teens. It really depends on the location. And sites don't have to be open. If there's like specific programming at the library that people have to sign up for and there's only capacity for like 10 or 15, there is ways to make it an enrolled summer program where it's not necessarily open to the community at large, although we would love that because we want to increase access. But if there's no capacity for that, there is a way to do enrolled programming as well. And that gets nuanced at the sponsor level.
And is the expectation for in-person sites that it's 5 days a week?
No. It can be one day a summer. It could be a major event at the library. Maybe you're doing a book sale and you want your local summer meal sponsor to provide free meals during your book sale to increase participation at that summer book sale. They can make your site a site for one day.
Okay.
Or it could be you're operating 5 days a week or 3 days a week. It's very flexible.
Yeah. I also had a question, sorry to dominate here, but
No,
as
it's
long as
great.
I'm unmuted, the bookmark that you're planning to distribute, does that have, I didn't see from the image that you were showing, does that have any sort of QR code or direction to another place where families can find out more information?
It doesn't, so we'll probably include flyers or something with it. I was thinking that as I was going through. That one does not have the QR code, so we'll probably include additional information.
Okay. And one more.
Yep.
I feel like when I have seen some materials appear at the library in the past, the sort of database to find out more that they're directing families to doesn't feel family focused. It feels a little more like in the bowels of the USDA website,
Yeah.
and the main information was populated later in the summer. And I was just wondering if there is any if that is still the same, or if there is a more family focused forward way to search and see how can I find a meal close to me.
I have good news and bad news for you. So, the USDA site finder is what's used, and it's used every year. And so that's the resource that you're talking about. It's the place where all state agencies, so Maine Department of Education, by June, we send all of our site information to USDA and they populate the map with all that site information. And then on a weekly basis, we send them updates. And so all the states are doing this to populate this map. And why I say it's nuanced is that non-congregate meals is the new program. I know it started with COVID, but the Sun Meals to Go is new, and I think people appreciate this. But there's like an Excel template that we have to fill out. The Excel template doesn't match how non-congregate meals operate, so we have to create our own template, and it just gets really messy. So it's not user friendly. I agree with you. I think it could definitely be a more user friendly resource. So what we've seen as a better option is finding those local organizations that create their own like local summer meals maps. We see this in Portland. They have a summer meals map that is a resource that gets handed out. But we also can work with partnering organizations across the state. My prior role was overseeing some healthy eating, active living work across the state. And I'm already thinking about if I give them information on summer meals in their service areas, how they can create local level resources that they may be able to provide to libraries to have easily accessible lists of sites and operating times. We also encourage sponsors like schools to create those resources that I showed that promoted the library and get that out to their local papers, put that on social media, put that on their communication resources to households. So really promoting at the local level, because the way that's being done naturally isn't always getting to the people who need it the most. And we recognize that's a barrier.
Okay. Appreciate it. Didn't mean to
Yeah.
lob a criticism. I
No,
appreciate
not
the
at
hint
all.
to look
It's
local.
frustrating. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm putting in some links here. So I put in the link to the site finder, and now I'm doing the one, they have a whole promotional toolkit.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'll put in that link as well. Okay.
Thank you.
So my name is Jennifer, and I have a question about eligibility. So I work in a community that very likely does not meet the eligibility requirements. Our school district serves the towns of Cumberland and North Yarmouth. And that is not to say that there aren't kids and teens who would benefit from us being a site.
Yeah.
I have no idea if our school district participates in this at all. I've not heard about it, so I'm thinking probably not. So I guess my question is, could we broaden out to include serving other communities to be able to become eligible, to be an eligible site? Or is it, or are we just sort of like, okay, we're out of luck, we can't participate in this program? I mean, I'd have to look and double check that we're not eligible, but I would be really surprised if this community met the 50% threshold that that the organization's asking for.
Thanks for bringing that forward, Jennifer. I do not believe at the present time Cumberland North Yarmouth operates in the program. It was North Yarmouth, right? I think I got that right. Yeah. So there's a couple of things with that. Knowing that just because an area is not hitting the threshold doesn't mean there's not a need, right?
Right.
And so a couple of the nuances of our programs is, first, I'm grateful for Sunbucks, which is that additional EBT benefit of $120 per child for those who meet the eligibility guidelines. So that's a grocery benefit that goes out in the summertime, which is a huge win. It's one of the first new food assistance programs in a long, long time. So that's a good thing that's come about. And then the second option is, when I talked about Sun Meals to Go, I didn't get into the nuances of how areas that are considered rural there's a rural mapping tool. So if your area was rural on this rural mapping tool that we're required to use, there's something called a conditional non-congregate program where sponsors are able to offer the Sun Meals to Go to eligible households. So it gets to those households who meet the specific requirements and can provide meals to go for those households. It's called a conditional non-congregate site. And we would work at the state agency at Maine Department of Education with, I believe you're RSU 51, right?
Yes.
MSAB yep. 51 on what that could look like. So there are a couple of options, but I do want to say a couple of things. The first is, I acknowledge that just because there's not a 50% threshold doesn't mean there's not need. There is. But also, one of the things I do appreciate about this program is, once a site is considered eligible, it has a 5-year grace period. So we know things change. So a story in Kittery is, Kittery was eligible in 2027. I'm just throwing numbers out here, in 2020 or 2017, and come 2018, where they had their major site, was not eligible. They could still operate because they were in that 5-year grace period. They did that all up until the 5-year renewal period. And in September, Wendy, the director, was reaching out, what are we going to do? Like, this is our biggest site. There's so much need. And they do wonderful things for the community. And so she was preparing to not be able to operate. Well, wouldn't you know, the new census data was released. It was eligible again. So they were able to operate through that 5-year period after an initial period of eligibility, and then re-up their 5 years because things change. But every year we work with our sites to reassess eligibility to push out that 5-year time period.
Okay, so just one last clarifying question, and then maybe I can continue this conversation with you over email or something.
Yeah, definitely.
But so as a library, I cannot initiate this on my own. I would need to be under the umbrella of a larger sponsor. So I would have to negotiate with my local school. Like, it would have to be the schools. It couldn't be the churches. I only hesitate because it's as people know, a little bit tricky sometimes to negotiate those relationships with schools.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just wanted to just clarify that it would have to be through our school district.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah. And if it was something like a conditional non-congregate site, it's really the school districts that's the best entity to oversee this, because they hold that confidential information. They have the food service experience for operating big, big food service operations. So it wouldn't be expected that the library's on its own with doing this. That's why we really say best practice is working with an existing sponsor and working with us to learn more about what's available. I do want to acknowledge, Ray, that you put in something in the chat. There's an idea to expanding for providing healthy snacks for youth patrons and their families. So I will say that it's not just a full meal that the summer meals program can provide. Sponsors can choose at a library site to offer what's called a 2-component snack. And so that could be a fruit and vegetable, bundled with a milk or a cheese stick or something of that nature. So it can be it doesn't have to be a full meal. It can be a smaller 2-component snack. That is the program that's operating. And then there's another question about having seasonal fruits and vegetables. We love that. Or allergy-friendly shelf-stable snacks. Yes, absolutely. So that snack service could take that into consideration. And all USDA child nutrition programs, we follow civil rights guidelines, and part of the civil rights guidelines include making sure that those with disability can receive the benefit without discrimination. And so dietary accommodations must be considered.
Great. Any other questions? Well, I'll speak for a moment about the importance of promoting this. This is such a great role for public libraries to play. Is so many kids don't access this because they don't even know about it, or they have, for whatever reason, assumptions or misunderstandings that they would have to register or do some paperwork, or they're not eligible. And that's not the case. So the more you can get the word out in your community about this, the better. And if you can tie it in with some library program, if you're able, if you have a site that's close. Oh, thank you, Ray. Thanks for coming. If you have a site that's close to you and you can do any programming there, again, as Adrienne said, it's a great place to sign kids up for your summer reading program, to bring crafts there. You can do easy activities. You can get them up and moving. So many library programs. I've heard of one that I really liked. There was a library that is not in the state, but a library that was within easy walking distance of the site, and they knew that there were some teens there that probably needed the summer meals, but there is a stigma for some kids attached to this. So they put together a teen volunteer program for the teens to walk the younger kids to the site.
Oh, that's amazing.
They all ate together. Isn't that great?
That's so fantastic. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Love it.
So great use of teen volunteers there. And again, increasing that accessibility to these important meals.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. If you do have a bookmobile or book van, a book bike, any of these would be great to bring, or just bring some books in your car. That works as well, for sure. And bring some craft supplies, some games, some bubbles. Everyone loves bubbles at a summer meal. all kinds of fun activities. Just
Oh my goodness. I just thought about a biking event. So book bikes,
oh,
right? And then there are smoothie
yeah,
bikes that coordinators have. So we could have a bike themed summer events at site. That's great.
that
Cool.
would be fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, any other questions? No. Well, thank you so much, Adriane. We have your contact information. I will provide it out along with the archive to this. And
Great. Thank you so much.
we'll also get it to the folks who registered but could not make it today. But we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And thanks everyone for coming today.
Thanks. Bye.